Hello, welcome to the RDA. Welcome to our Manchester United vs Leicester City preview / Antony reaction. And you know what? The Brazilian Wonder Kid is in the building. He's in the building, ladies and gentlemen, and really exciting signing. Really exciting signing. But I don't think we can talk about this and not mention how we were mugged off a little here. We were mugged off a little. We were mugged off big time. 100 million euros for Antony is complete madness. But at the end of the day, that's not our fault. That's not our fault. That's not Antony's fault. Definitely not Antony's fault. It is the ownership's fault. It is the management's fault that they have messed up this transfer window to such an extent that we're having to overpay for a player that we needed. You know, it's their fault. And in a very ironic way, it damns them even more. You know, it puts more fuel to fire on the whole Glazer movement. You know, they've messed up this window. I don't care what they do from now on. You know, they can sign Frankie de Jong, they can keep Ronaldo, but the fact that we're making panic buys, you know, and the fact that it affected us so much at the start of the season, I don't care if we're recovering. It's their fault. They've messed it up, and they have to pay for it. You know, they have to pay for it, you know. And Glazer's out. Like, we just don't care anymore. Glazer's out. I don't care what you do. You know, you can freaking buy the whole Man City squad for us. We're not interested. We're not going to do that. But, yeah, you know, it's all their fault. They've messed it up. We've overpaid big time for this player. But at the end of the day, I think the person who needs to protect the most here is Antony himself, because it's not his fault. It really isn't, you know, and the media is already going to target him enough. You know what they do in England when one, you're a Manchester United player, and two, you have a massive price tag on your head, and three, you're not English. You know, if you have that combination, it's a yikes for you, you know, and the media is going to target you and just, you know, be wishing for your downfall. It's the truth, you know, and we have to protect him, because if he starts off a bit shaky, which he might, because he has to adjust to the Premier League, if he starts off shaky, the media is going to attack Ten Hag, they're going to attack the player and say he's brought in a player from the Eredivisie, and, you know, we all foresaw that, you know, he's not going to do well because of the Eredivisie, and they never do well. You know, all that's going to come out, and I think we need to protect the player, because he's going to need our protection if he's going to live up to the potential that we know he has. And he really has great potential. You know, he's done really well under Ten Hag at Ajax. You know, he's a goal threat. He assists as well, you know. And on top of that, for us, Manchester United, he fixes a big problem, a persisting problem for a very long time at this club. We have had an issue on the right-hand side of our attack. You know, our attack has not been balanced for a very long time, and it's been focused on the left way too much. And I think we'd all hoped that Sancho was gonna fix that, but then it turned out that Sancho actually favors the left more. You know, and the fact that Rashford is the other person playing on that position. You know, I feel like we need Sancho to move them. We need Sancho to bench at the very least, and then we need Antony to come in and balance out our attack, and that is just gonna improve how well we create chances, and that is going to improve the output we get from our strikers. You know, I mean, imagine if we have Sancho, who's very creative on the left, and we have Antony, who's very creative on the right, you know, just crossing those balls in for Cristiano Ronaldo, and then behind them, we've got Malacia and Dallo doing a similar job. You know, I think we will get the most out of a player like Cristiano Ronaldo if he was to be at the club. But, you know, at the end of the day, I think Antony, besides all the politics around it, you know, is a very good signing. You know, it's a signing that we've needed for a long time, for a very long time. And two, he's an Erik Ten Hag signing, to the point that he even played with him, so he understands how to get the best out of him, and he just understands that the player will fit in the system because he's worked with him so closely, you know. So I'm really happy with the signing. I'm ecstatic about the signing, and I'm excited to see what we get from Antony. You know, the Brazilian magic. You know, these type of signings are always really exciting. You know, those players playing up front, you know, doing the magic, scoring the goals, you know, just finishing players. And I'm very excited about Antony. But, you know, will Antony play, when are we playing on Thursday? Will he play on Thursday? I've heard that in order for him to play on Thursday, he needs to be registered by midday tomorrow. That's what I've heard. And I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen, because I hear that it's an issue of work permits and visas and all that, you know. So I'm not very confident that can be done by midday tomorrow, you know. So I would expect him to play at the very least, be on the bench at the very least, come the game on Sunday against Arsenal, you know. And why, you know, I didn't want to talk about this, but why are we playing Thursday, Sunday? You know, why? I never like when this happens, you know. No, Arsenal, I was playing on Wednesday, and then we have to play on Thursday, and then every day, you know what, let me not complain. because you never win at the Premier League. You never win. They always do these type of things. But at the end of the day, really good signing from Antony signing, and I'm really excited. But yeah, let's move on to Southampton. Southampton. We just played Southampton. Leicester City versus Manchester United, and gonna be a good game. Gonna be an interesting game. I think this is our chance to kind of get in the rhythm and find consistency. When last did we put a run together? So I think that's what this game is about. Putting a run together, showing that we can be consistent. Showing that Liverpool wasn't a fluke, Southampton was a fluke, and Eric Ten Hag means business. And the shambles of the first two games, are behind us. That's what we need to show in this game. And yeah, I'm intrigued. I'm really intrigued, because we have massive doubts over this team as fans. Like, we went from thinking that we have a competent team, maybe we went from thinking that Ole was the problem when we have a competent team to thinking, wow, we're in a mess after last season. We have a bad manager on Ole, we sack him, and it becomes more evident that we have players who aren't up for the task. So it'll be interesting to see what Ten Hag can do with this group of players. And it's going to answer a lot of questions about how good are this group actually. Because I feel like a lot of us have written them off. A lot of us have written them off. We don't want to give them second chance. We just think they're not good enough. But if Ten Hag can somehow revive them, it'll just be glorious, because it'll actually show that maybe we do have an okay bunch, and you just need to pick out the bad apples and Maguire in them, and the fact that Eric Ten Hag is a really good coach who can take a group whose mentality is on the floor and pick it up and get them winning games, So I think what this game is about, just getting a run together, winning 3 games on the bounce, winning 3 games on the bounce and going into Arsenal and trying to beat Arsenal, and by doing that, we're making a statement. If we can win this game and beat Arsenal, we're making a statement. Not that we're going to win the league. It's never going to happen. But the fact that, we might be having troubles. The glaze out movement is happening. But we're still going to try to fight for top 4. Because football is important to us, And ultimately, as much as the Glazers have a big influence on how things happen, Ten Hag is alone with the players over a week, So with this group of players, like I said, I think in my last preview, this group of players is still better than most of the Premier League, So Ten Hag, if he's a good coach, should still be able to put together decent results with this group. So I think that's what this game's all about. Consistency, putting a run together, and I think we couldn't be facing a better opposition. We could not be facing a better opposition, because Leicester City are in the mud. Leicester City are in the mud right now. Oh my word. I know. They sit 20th on the table. They're lost. They're lost on the table. They haven't won a game. The only point they've gotten was in the first one was a 2-2 draw against Brentford. And ever since, it's just been shambles. They won, I think, in the Carabao Cup. They had to go to penalties, with some other team, and won on penalties. And besides that, they've lost every other game in the league. They sit 20th. They are in massive trouble, So I think this is the perfect game for us, They're low on confidence. And it doesn't look like they're going to be picking up anytime soon. It's very difficult for them. It's a very difficult period. And I hope we can keep them in the mud. I'm sorry, Leicester City fans. But, we need the 3 points. That's just how it is, And I hope it's not one of those games that we love putting on, where we go to a struggling side and make them look good. We let them dominate the midfield. And then after that, they go on a run. They go, we're back now because we beat United, So I'm really hoping it's not that. How they're going to approach this game, I think it's very obvious to me, I think in the past, Brendan Rodgers has liked to put on a show on some games where they feel like they can, where they try to play, progressive, on-the-ball football, but he's not doing that. I don't see him doing that, I think, yes, when they build up, they're not going to abandon all their principles and just play complete route one, but I do think they will play with the low block, they will play with the low block, and they will try and make it as hard as possible for us to break them down and try catch on the counter. I don't know if Vardy's fit. I don't even know if he starts anymore to them, to be honest. I haven't really been watching Leicester City, but I do believe that they'll still play on the counter no matter if Vardy's fit or not, because they'll believe that's the best chance they have to beat us, to frustrate us, because for the longest time we've struggled to break down teams. Heck, even against Southampton, maybe we had better moments, but overall we didn't look perfect in terms of how we broke down Southampton, So they will take that approach, and hope that they can nick a goal on the counter, on the transition, and just make life difficult for us, So we we need to be ready for that. And I'm pretty sure Ten Hag will, because Ten Hag's a boss. But we need to be ready for that. And we need to, do more of what we did in the first 15 minutes of the second half against Southampton. I think that was probably the best football we've played in the Ten Hag during the season. We're not going to come pre-season, that doesn't really matter. But during the season, I think that first 15 minutes of the second half was golden, We really kept possession, we dominated the play, and we scored a really good team goal with Bruno finishing it off, So more of that, and more of the energy, the hunger that we saw against Liverpool, because that's what we need, I've heard pundits say they did it in a game, they did it for a good, 50 minutes, 60 minutes against Liverpool. Can they do it every game like the Cities and the Liverpools of this world do, And I think we can, I mean, we've seen Leeds do that, maybe Leeds didn't win amazing stuff under Bielsa, because ultimately it's going to come down to what players you have. If you don't have good enough players, you can't win the league. But in terms of the work rate they put in, and not just Leeds, maybe I'm being unfair, Yes, Leeds looked the most, they were the most fashionable because, the type of football they play on the ball, all of that. But beyond that, a lot of teams in the Premier League work really hard off the ball and on the ball, And we just need to keep those principles. It's about hard work, it's about winning the second balls. I feel like I've been saying that ever since the Liverpool game, because it's what Ten Hag's been saying, and because it's the truth, And if we can keep that going, we have the players. Bruno in the midfield, Eriksen in the midfield, and now and now Casemiro to start. Possibly to start, but we definitely have him as a signing. But yeah, we have Casemiro, we have Eriksen, we have Bruno, and we have no excuse for not dominating midfields. We're not winning midfield battles. Yes, there'll be those that we don't win, but we should still, put on a show, show that we have a backbone, And I think consistency is just the key word for this game, and just imposing ourselves over Leicester City, and just playing Ten Hag ball. We can't play on the counter in this game. They're not going to allow us, And I think they have slightly better players. I'd say they have slightly better players than Southampton have, And Southampton were awful, to be honest, So, who knows? Maybe they'll come in rejuvenated, Leicester, and just play the low block, and because they're better defenders, just frustrate us even more compared to Southampton, So we need to be ready for that, And we need to work on breaking them down. We need to be smart on the ball, not waste the ball, not a ridiculous amount of hero balls from Bruno. Rashford, if he's playing, make the pass when he needs to make the pass, and just, stick to the principles that Ten Hag has drilled in training, and just impose ourselves, But that'll only work if it's backed up by energy off the ball and, a sense of purpose on the ball, And yeah, it's pretty straightforward how we have to play this game, Pulling it off is the question, And we'll see. I'm hopeful. I wasn't very hopeful for Liverpool. I wasn't very hopeful for Southampton, but I'm a little bit hopeful now. But that's what kills you. It's the hope. It's the hope that kills you, But yeah, let's move on to the lineup. And David De Gea in goal is the obvious one, we don't really have anyone else, I know we are trying. I don't know if it's official. I don't know. I think we've gotten the here we go from Romano, but we are trying to sign, I think his name is Dubravka from Newcastle, to, I guess, challenge David De Gea. I've never really seen him as that quality, so I think he will ultimately be a backup to David, And yeah, I don't see him coming in and replacing David, unless maybe he's good with his feet, and Ten Hag's trying to bring him for that. But over the years of watching him, and I haven't taken too much note of him, I've never really seen him as that mold, or maybe I'm just not paying enough attention, But I think for the foreseeable future, David De Gea will be Manchester United's goalkeeper. And I don't have a problem with that. I know some people have a problem with David, they think that he's not good enough, But I agree. He does fumble here and there, I mean, we can forget Brentford. That was a howler, But ultimately, I think he does win us a lot of points, I think he won us the points at Southampton. That was that one reflex save that if he didn't make, that was a goal. That was a goal. And one can say the player should have scored, in that situation. But David found a way to pull out the save, So ultimately, he does still win us a lot of points because, he is a really good goalkeeper, And long term, I can imagine we're going to have to start thinking, I don't know if Dean will come back, or something happened there. But for the foreseeable future, David's going to be in goal, and he's definitely starting his Leicester City. The fullbacks, yeah, actually the whole back line, I don't see any change here. I don't see any change because, I mean, he was consistent in the sense that he changed no one from Liverpool to Southampton, when I thought there would be maybe 1 or 2 changes, maybe, but he proved that, he showed that he's a type of manager, like, if you do well, I'm going to reward you. And it should be like that, unless if it's a tactical change, it should be that if you played well and there's no tactical thought behind it, you should play the next game, you should be rewarded that. So I do see him playing the exact same back line because it is our best back line. It really is, I guess maybe Shaw can be given a benefit of the doubt in the long term, he will give him the opportunity to fight for his spot because he has rewarded us in the past, but there's been an issue of consistency and Malacia just only arrived, so maybe there's a little question mark there, but if you're asking me, Malacia starts, Dallo, because Wan-Bissaka does not fit the mold, and Maguire should just stay at home. He shouldn't even come, he should just stay at home and it should be just like that, and yeah, we've really been impressed with Varane and Martinez, really good pairing, it looks like we've got something there, and I'm really excited because I just feel like our woes have been at the back a lot lately, in recent years. At the back, we've really struggled in the sense that they tend to make a lot of mistakes and cost us a lot of points, I mean, so many times at Old Trafford that we consider go early because Maguire made a mistake or Bayer made a mistake, and maybe we come back to draw, but then we're never enough to win. Maybe we could have won the game 1-0, or maybe just the mindset could have been different. So I feel like those little mistakes, fine margins, as Ollie used to say, football is fine margins, Yes, he'd use it as an excuse and we wouldn't like it, but football is fine margins, So yeah, it's an interesting one there, and I just think that with a pairing that you can trust, that is consistent, and that fits that's the attributes to play the style Tanak wants to play, which is playing a high line, and just being imposing yourself against the opposition. I think it can go a long way, And in front of a solid looking back line, if you don't play McFred, then you're moving in the right direction, And I think we are getting to a point where it is the end of McFred, and that brings me so much joy. It brings me so much joy because these two have pulled daylight robbery at Manchester United for the longest time now. They've gotten away with murder, and they're just not good enough. They're not good enough, I commend the effort. They do put in a shift. I commend the effort, I commend the running and all of that. But it doesn't matter if you can't do the job. If you can't do the job, it's actually a shame for you, because you're just embarrassing yourself in front of millions of fans around the world, And with them, we're not even playing them to their strengths, Both those players are more box-to-box players, So hopefully we can unleash that now. But yeah, it must be the end of McFred. It must be the end of them together. And I think maybe in the lesser games, maybe in the cup games, maybe in like 1 or 2 league games, But if the rest of our team is fit, and we're playing a big game, I don't even want to see them, I don't want to see them. They must chow that bench at the very least, So yeah, I think it's the end of McFred. And what pairing will Erik ten Hag play in 2 of the 4-2-3-1? Besides some miracle happening in the transfer window, wink wink, I think it'll be Eriksen and Casemiro. I think that's the pairing he's going to go with. He's shown that he's brave to restore Casemiro into a position that he maybe hasn't played in the past, and he feels like he can handle it. I mean, the fact that he's playing against Liverpool shows that he's brave to play him pretty much in any game, So if he was in a panic and play McFred, he would have done it in that game, and he didn't, So I do think we're going to see Eriksen, I do think he's going to make the position his own. And next to him will be Casemiro. And it'll be interesting to see how they balance each other out. I think there's a lot of potential there, And instead of having a out-and-out defensive midfielder, we haven't had that in a very long time. And it excites me because it's a fault that's been at the club that's going to be fixed. And I am positive, I'm hopeful it's going to yield positive results, So we'll see. I think the last out-and-out CDM we've had at the club is Matic, and he hasn't been in his best for a very long time, So it's going to be something new, something different that's going to improve us, and that's always great, And I think Matic will play, not Matic, I think Casemiro will start, I even think, against Leicester, I think he didn't start last week because he had just arrived, maybe he hasn't risen up to speed in how we play. And maybe fitness is not at the level Erik ten Hag wants, But I'm confident because I know that everything else isn't good enough that he's going to want to put him in as quick as possible, More Ollie. when we signed Bruno. We had just signed Bruno, like he had barely trained, but because everything else was just so horrible, he threw Bruno, into the game, and Bruno played well, and I expect that type of response from Casemiro as well, because Casemiro is a class player, and I do think we'll see him. I think we'll see him next to Eriksen, and in front of them, Bruno, and I think that midfield has potential. I'm not going to say it's going to be the next big thing. I'm not going to jump the gun yet, but I think it has great potential, and I think it'll be one of the most balanced midfields that we've had in a long time. Front line, going to be very interesting. Antony won't play. I don't see it happening. I think even if we do manage to get him his visas and stuff ready and his permit ready by midday tomorrow, Ten Hag is that manager who doesn't like to rush players into the mix, and maybe there's a shout to say that because he's a former, he played with him at Ajax, there's a chance he might do that. I think he might have done it with Martinez, actually. He might have. I think he might have just thrown him into the first game. So maybe. But Martinez did play in the friendly before that. He did. So if you're asking what my opinion is, I don't see him playing. I don't see him starting. And maybe on the bench, maybe a 10-minute cameo. We might see Antony. But if I was a betting man, I'd bet against him playing at all, to be honest. I think I'd basically make the bench and just watch from the bench, So, yeah, I don't see him playing. But who's going to start then? I think Cristiano Ronaldo and the saga, it's coming to a close very soon, and I think I'm worried, I think there's a possibility he might leave, and I don't want him to leave, because who else is going to score that many goals for us, I mean, we'll get goals from Antony, we'll get goals from Tony, we'll get goals from Rashford, we'll get goals from Sancho, but all of them aren't like 25 goals a season in the league striker. And Ronaldo he still is. I promise you he is, And we'll bring in Antony and Sancho next to him and play Ronaldo. I think it could be amazing, So I don't want him to leave because we haven't sorted out a replacement. You can't sell your best player on the last year of transfer window without a replacement. The logic behind it just makes no sense whatsoever. Antony's not a Ronaldo replacement. I don't care what they say. He's not. He won't get Ronaldo's goals. So Ronaldo needs to stay. But I'm scared because he didn't play. He basically didn't play against Southampton, And I don't know what that means, I was thinking the other day, maybe Tanak's saying, I'm not playing you because you're not sure about your future and you're heading on the right place. But if you're here, once the window closes, I'll play you. I think that might be the situation. And if it is that, it's very hopeful because it means that Ronaldo will stay, or might stay. Well, it's a good chance to stay. So we'll see. But I'm going to go. I think I'm going to keep it the same. I'm going to go with Rashford through the middle, with Sancho either right or left, and with the other player being Ilanga. I think that's what's going to happen. Ronaldo's going to leave the bench. Because if I'm right about him saying his head is not in the right place, the window won't have closed by the time he plays. It will have. I think it'll be closing that night, but it won't have closed yet. So I don't think he'll play Ronaldo. But I could be wrong. And I think if he does play him, I think it'll put everything to bed. Because if Ronaldo's playing in the day the window closes, I think it tells me that Ronaldo's staying at the club. That's what I think it tells me, So, yeah. But if I'm betting, I'm going to say it's going to be Ilanga, Sancho, Rashford, Bruno, Eriksen, Casemiro, Dalot, Malacia, Martinez, Varane, and De Gea as the team. And how will that team fare? You know what? I think I'm going to back them. I haven't backed them for like 2 games. I've been scared to back them because, I've been trying to learn my lessons because this club would do that to you, But I just have a bad feeling that I'm gonna back them now and then they're gonna screw me over, But I'm gonna back them because Leicester is so bad at the moment, and Man United it seems like we're building some momentum, And if we see a Maguire, oh my word, I'm gonna lose it. Maguire starting, if we're playing McFred, if it was some other left field team, then we might lose this game. You remember that game where Leicester beat us and they gained confidence and Rodgers gets to keep his job, So, if anything unexpected happens like that, then we might lose this game because we're Manchester United playing with a captain like Harry Maguire who, just can make a mistake at any moment, So we'll see. But I'm confident that he won't do that. I'm confident that Erik ten Hag, once again, is the boss. and he's gonna stick with the right players, you know. And I was just very happy with the back line, our defensive display, you know. I know maybe we could have been more on the ball and relieve the pressure, and we won 3-0 against Southampton, but I just felt like the way we handled the pressure was good, you know. We didn't buckle under pressure like we see Lindelof, Maguire, Fred, and McTominay, and Shaw. It must include Shaw, you know, and maybe even Wan-Bissaka when they're playing together, you know. So, yeah, I think United will win this game. I think they'll win this game. I just think Leicester is just, yeah, out of it, you know. And I think if we get the first goal, you know, with where Leicester is mentally and the second situation, we could score 2, 3. I don't know. Maybe I'm being optimistic. But I am going to go for an optimistic 3-1. 3-1. No, let's go 2-1. Let's be safe. I'm going to go 2-1 Manchester United. And I think, yeah, we're going to have to fight. We're going to have to fight. No matter, even if the 20th on the table is the Premier League, you know. 20 can beat first. You know, we've seen in the past, you know. So I think they're going to give us a fight, you know. And, I mean, they give Chelsea a fight. You know, I know Chelsea had a red card, but it's still only in the 2-1, you know. So I think it's going to be a fight. I think they're going to try, give it the all list and attempt to fix the situation, you know, because they have decent players, you know. But I think at the end of the day, at the moment, we'll just have a little bit too much for them, and I think it's going to be a 2-1 Manchester United win. So yeah, that's been your Manchester United versus Leicester preview, and hopefully in the reaction I'll be coming with good news, you know, and we're not just saying we're back at square one, and you know, it's just the whole thing. We don't want that, you know. We want to move forward and, you know, just play good football, you know, and hopefully be in a position to challenge for top 4 come the end of the season, you know. That's all we're asking for. Top 4. It's not much. It's not much. Arsenal can't get it and we don't, you know. I refuse. So yeah, we'll see. You see. But yeah, it's been your boy Ritter. Please like and subscribe, and I'll check you in the next one.